Hey everyone, welcome to Married with Wrestling. I'm Susan and this is Chris. And we are here to talk about, well, I guess it's a little bit different this week. Typically we talk about WWE, AEW, NXT. I guess we still are, but we're going to focus more on like AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view that happened this weekend. We're going to touch on whatever WWE's pay-per-view was that happened.
Their pay-per-view didn't happen. Survivor Series happens next week. We're building to it. My goodness. So, let's start with the build to Survivor Series. So, Survivor Series had two developments this week. Both of them involved War Games matches. It looks like we're getting Priest and Gunther for sure. Probably Owens and Cody Rhodes. Although Cody mentioned they could do Saturday night's main events, they might save that match for that. And that'd be the first one announced there. I think we're going to get a fourth Survivor Series match. I just don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it'll involve Braun Breaker. That'd be cool. But anyway, on the women's side of things, Jade Cargill has been attacked.
Yeah. Left for dead.
Yeah. We don't know who. Bianca's pissed. She's probably going to blame Bayley. Bayley's face run has been kind of bland since she got the title and lost it. So, sure, she could attack Jade and be jealous. That's fine. She could pull... That's what Carlito did to Dragon Lee. So, yeah. I mean, that's it worked there. But I think Bayley's kind of the predictable answer. Nia and her crew's the boring answer. I'm not sure who the interesting answer is yet. But we'll see. But I have a feeling Bayley's going to replace Jade in the War Games match. Which is fine. I was confused that Bayley wasn't in it anyway, but Jade wasn't the one I had the issue with. It was Io Sky. But there's some potential story here to tell this week if she joins the team, is because her and Io have history, but Io's trying to also reform and be on the side of good.
Yeah.
So there's some story there. Bianca doesn't trust Bayley, but she really likes Naomi. So there's definitely some story going on here. The heel side of things is just there. Like, they all just kind of agreed, yeah, we're assholes, and that's enough of a team up.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley also returned this week.
Yes.
That's how we know we're getting a War Games match, because Rhea Ripley came down to the ring, yelled War Games, and just threw a headbutt.
With her broken nose.
With her broken nose, so that's fun. Now, on the men's side of things, they've been teasing who the fifth man's going to be for Roman's bloodline for a while. They talked to Seth Rollins. They talked to LA Knight on SmackDown.
Did they come up to Cody?
No, they never approached Cody because Sammy suggested that.
And Roman said no.
And Roman was like, no, I've moved on, which I like to hear because my first thought was, oh, so you don't care about the title. That's cool. That's good to know for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I like what Cody and Kevin Owens are doing right now. I like that Cody's getting to do feuds outside of the bloodline. I think that's what's going to help his title reign, because if he would have held it all through his bloodline story, it would have just felt like he was a placeholder.
Yeah.
So at least he's getting to go out and have feuds. He had a great one with AJ Styles. He's got a good one brewing here with Kevin Owens. After that, maybe he does something with Randy Orton, because Randy Orton does agree with Kevin Owens that it's Cody's fault all this happened. We'll see. But back to the War Games match for the men.
Yes.
So, Roman didn't have a plan on SmackDown. Solo wanted him to surrender, which Roman was not happy about. And we had talked about last week, I remembered it at the end of the show, but Paul Heyman's number was disconnected or out of service or something when Roman tried to call it. So Roman goes out to the ring to meet Solo, and they don't know what to do. Paul Heyman's back. Paul Heyman showed up looking healthy, and he said something like, you'll have to forgive me if I didn't pick up. I was put through a table in Madison Square Garden or something like that. But Paul Heyman says that it's not going to be 4-on-5 at War Games. It's going to be 5-on-5. So you knew who it was. You guessed right away. Like, I was sitting here trying to think. I was like, he doesn't have a connection to Rollins, so it can't be Rollins. And then finally, CM Punk, of all people, came out. Which the crowd got super excited for, because it's the first time that CM Punk and Roman Reigns have interacted in this current version of Roman Reigns. So I think they got the desired reaction they wanted out of that. I didn't think about it again until this morning, when I was like, wait a minute. CM Punk did this match with Drew McIntyre, and he's like, I'll be back. I don't know when. It really took a toll on me. I don't know how many of these I got left, but I'll be back. But I'll come back if I can. and his first match back is going to be a War Games match? Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't really like Punk, so I don't really know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yep, he's back. I don't know.
What do you think of the developments on the women's side?
The War Games match?
Yeah.
I think it seems fine.
Yeah.
I'm there for it.
I feel like there's definitely... I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. Because sometimes, like, when the faces are the ones that face adversity, they still end up winning, especially when they have Bianca Belair on their team. But I don't know. I don't know how that one's going to go. I don't know how the other one's going to go either, come to think of it, because either option is decent and furthers the story.
I don't know.
Find out. But that's what WWE's cooking up for Survivor Series. As far as NXT, they're just kind of building to deadline. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we have our individuals that qualify for the Iron Survivor. So we'll get there. Oh, Chase U is done. Mm-hmm. Chase U's cooked. Yep. So... Andre Chase lost to Ridge Holland, so Chase U's cooked. So we'll see how that goes. I had a feeling last week, because I was like, Ridge is going to win that, because they definitely set up Ridge to be Trick's next challenger.
Yeah.
But they put together some pretty good vignettes for Chase U this week.
They did, yeah.
And it was fun to go back and look at, because Chase U's been through a lot.
They have, yeah.
They've been through a lot, and... I'll be interested to see where it goes from here. It should be interesting. With Chase U, usually it is. Usually they find something to get into. I'm sure we'll have like a sad vignette or something. So that's what WWE's got cooking. So why don't we look at what AEW cooked last night? So last night AEW had their full gear show. And it was really, really good. It was long, like you predicted, but AEW usually ends at midnight. They ended at 11:57. So you got 3 minutes back.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of break down. We'll do a brief synopsis. We're not going to go into a whole to-do about it. If you want to see it, go watch the show, because AEW pay-per-views are typically worth it.
Yeah.
You get good matches. You get a lot of matches. And you get good ones. So I will always recommend AEW's pay-per-views, even if you don't like their weekly television. Their pay-per-views do a good job of showcasing what AEW does best, and that's sometimes just putting two people in a ring and letting them go and seeing what happens. So the tag match was a fatal four-way. Private Party retained against Outrunners, House of Black, and The Acclaimed. And actually, us missing Collision the last couple weeks actually bit us in the butt, because they were talking about on commentary, The Acclaimed are beefing together.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm kind of sad that we're missing, because we've been with The Acclaimed since the beginning.
Yeah, I really like them together.
And apparently the story's hitting, because the crowd was they gave it to Max Caster.
They did, yeah.
Max Caster was kind of healing it up a little bit. Max Caster took the pin.
He didn't pay attention during some of the match. He got distracted.
Yeah. Bowens had a roll-up win, but Caster had tagged himself in. I can't really blame Caster for that, because it's not like Caster was like, oh, he's going to roll him up, I better stay out of the match. So I think Bowens might have been a little overly sensitive about that one. But the rest of it, I see where he's coming from. Private Party retaining is fine. I was kind of hoping for House of Black to take it here, just because I want something good to happen to House of Black.
I mean, Julia Hart's coming back. Whenever they had Julia Hart before, that's whenever they dominated, because they had her to help them.
Yeah, Buddy Matthews won his match on 0 Hour.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about 0 Hour here in a minute, because I don't know what I watched, but I was entertained. So anyway, for the four-way match, Private Party retains, House of Black. Everybody had a story coming out of it except the Outrunners, but the Outrunners were by far the most over team in the match.
Yeah.
The Outrunners are going to get crowned, and they're going to get crowned soon. I
don't know if they'll get crowned or not. It's Tony Khan, but the fans recognize them.
Well, see, I see Tony Khan crowning them with the Ring of Honor tag titles, where no one will see them outside the people that have Ring of Honor.
True.
Which would be a big disservice to the Outrunners, but, I mean, this happens with Tony Khan. Jamie Hayter was one of the hottest female wrestlers he had when she went out with injury, and he brought her back on the pre-show.
Yeah.
He's going to do these. He didn't even bring her back in the Britt Baker match.
Well, I mean, I don't think those two like each other anymore, though.
Oh, are they not friends?
Britt Baker, I think, burned a lot of bridges backstage.
Oh, I was just talking about the context of the story.
Yeah, but if the women aren't willing to work together, you can't really make them. I mean, I guess he could, but then they'd be pissy, and then it'd be another Punk situation.
Okay, true. Yeah, it sounds like from what we've heard, Britt Baker's kind of getting to that point.
Yeah.
But that's rumor and speculation. We usually just go over what we see on the screen. There's other people.
No, I like gossip.
Okay, well, we're not equipped to go into.
You're not equipped.
Oh, okay.
I'm equipped to gossip about whatever I want.
Okay, gossip away. Speaking of the women, Mercedes Moné and Kris Statlander. Mercedes Moné retained clean. Camille didn't even come out.
And she actually looked better.
It's the best match Mercedes has had in AEW outside of her Forbidden Door match with Stephanie Vaquer. That one I think was still a little bit better, but the Statlander one's good. Statlander...
It's just really good.
Statlander needs to go to the world title picture. Statlander has hung around the mid-card for the women long enough. I think it's time to crown Statlander because she's starting to prove that you could put her in the ring with anybody and she'll get a good match with them.
Yeah.
She's Jade Cargill's best match, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
And Jade Cargill's been over in WWE, and Kris Statlander and her just... That's the best Jade Cargill match I've ever seen.
Yeah. What was her last match? Right?
Yeah, it was her last match in AEW.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And since I've seen Jade in WWE, I think all the credit on that can go to Statlander, and I don't think anybody's going to dispute it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good on them. Crown Statlander. Send her up the way. Send her after Mariah May. Crown her at, what's AEW got coming up? Crown her at Double or Nothing.
Speaking of Mariah May, she tried to turn on Mina, or she did turn on Mina.
She did turn on Mina, and Mina speared her through a table and came up with a mouthful of blood. Yes. And I don't really know what happened. You thought she lost a tooth.
I thought maybe she bit her tongue, maybe bit a part of her tongue off, because it was just...
Yeah, I mean, she looked pretty wrecked.
It looks cool, though.
Yeah.
I love whenever women bleed and they keep going.
Yeah.
Because it shows people that they're not pussies. That women can take it. So...
Yeah. But that was the only women's match on the card for Full Gear.
Well, that's Tony Khan.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to... I wonder, is he married?
I don't know. I doubt it.
I wonder if he knows what to do around a vagina.
I don't know.
Because he seems scared of it when it comes to wrestling.
But anyway, I will give him credit. This Statlander Mercedes story was going on for a while when it got here. And there's some fun things going on.
They did do fun things to build this.
Yeah, Statlander almost got hit by a car. Statlander drove the Mercedes through a wall. I will always be down for a feud that involves putting somebody through a wall. Especially if it's a spear. If it's a Braun Breaker spear, even better. That's like caviar and champagne for me.
Have you ever had caviar?
No.
Have you ever had champagne?
No, but I would imagine that's... What I mean is, like, it's the connoisseur's choice, the Braun Breaker spear is. We did have a title change hands. The TNT title was no longer on Jack Perry, which made sense for the story. Number one, we finally crowned Daniel Garcia with something. After it's been, like, start, stop, push for a couple years. We're finally doing something with Daniel Garcia, which is good, because he's come a long way on the mic, and he's always been good in the ring.
Yeah.
So good on that. And they tied it back to the Continental Classic from last year and how, like, good things happened in the Continental Classic once they got there and what they were. It felt like AEW had plans. It was nice. Like, it was like we were rewarded for remembering what happened in the Continental Classic. That's what I'm saying. I think AEW's finally maybe looking... I don't think they've turned the corner, but they see the corner and they're looking around it.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there.
They're taking a peek around the corner.
Yeah, because every match except the... And, you know, the tag match didn't have story with itself, but it had heaps of story with everybody in it. So I have to retract my statement from last week. Every match they put on had a story.
Yeah.
And a pretty decently built story at that. So, kudos. Keep that up. Keep that up, and the people will come back. Just tell something compelling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... And that makes sense because the Elite have gone to work from home. So Jack Perry had no backup.
Yeah.
Okada's just waiting for the Continental Classic to start.
Yeah.
So that made sense for Jack Perry to lose that title. I wonder what Jack Perry's going to do now since there's no Elite around. I wonder if he's going to disappear with them, if he's going to kind of create chaos. I don't know what's going to happen with Jack Perry. Maybe he'll join up with Moxley's crew.
Somebody join Moxley's crew?
We're not sure. We're not sure.
I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, did they actually do it, or did they tease it?
It was a good tease. It was a good tease, and we'll go ahead and go there because that's the last title match we have to talk about.
Yeah.
So, Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley fought for the world title. It was good. Every match they've had has been. Moxley won thanks to Wheeler Yuta hitting the Busaiku knee very last. He didn't come out with the rest of the Death Riders because we had Marina was already out there. And then we had Claudio and Pac show up later. And they got in a fight, or they kind of were disrupting things at ringside. So then the conglomeration comes out. So Kyle O'Reilly's out there. Tomohiro Ishii and Mark Briscoe are out there to chase off the Death Riders. So once they're gone, Wheeler Yuta comes in at the last minute, hits a Busaiku knee. Moxley hits Death Rider. Orange Cassidy's pinned. Mm-hmm. So Orange Cassidy goes down. Now what happened after that was pure bedlam and chaos, which is fun. So after that happened, Hangman comes out while they're beating up Orange Cassidy. Hangman comes out to the ring. He attacks Wheeler Yuta, sends Wheeler Yuta out of the ring, and he's standing there with Moxley. And, you know, he decides not to attack. Well, no, before that, I have to remember what happened because a lot happened.
I thought he attacked Orange. Did he not?
Well, when Hangman came out, Moxley was down. I can't remember why Moxley was down. But it resulted in Christian Cage coming out with his contract.
Yes.
To try to cash in. Hangman walked away so he could try it. Because Hangman didn't attack Moxley. So, and him and Moxley kind of had a stare down. So, maybe Hangman's looking for a place to go. And this kind of feels like where he wants to go. This version of Hangman would fit with them.
Yeah.
I think absolutely he would fit with them.
Yeah.
But when Christian Cage came out and tried to cash in, Jay White came out and stopped that, which makes sense because the only time Hangman beat Jay White was because of Christian Cage. So once again, we've tied the stories together. And Hangman and Jay White's in the ring after he's screwed up Christian's chances. Moxley's leaving. Moxley and the Death Riders have left. So Jay White's in the ring. He doesn't call out Moxley like he thought he would because I thought that was going to be the next feud. And I was like, all right, we could do that. Now, he calls out Pac of all people, which I'm not angry about it.
That'll be a fun match.
It will be. It absolutely will be. So Moxley, we're not even done. So Jay White's left in the ring. He's the last guy in the ring for the night, I believe. So Moxley's leaving. They go to get in their pickup truck that they've been driving around for a while. And this car with skulls just comes crashing into it. And this is another one. You were 2 for 2 this weekend because you got CM Punk right away. And because you weren't even in the room.
You were like, who is this?
You weren't even in the room. And I was like, oh man, Moxley's truck got hit by a car with skulls on it. And from the other room without even coming in, you were like, well, it's probably Darby driving. And sure enough, Darby gets out, all bloody, starts beating on the pickup truck with his skateboard, breaking the window, busting the lights, everything else. So Moxley and his crew literally go steal the car in front of the pickup truck, which is like a Jeep SUV, and then they drive off, and Darby's just yelling after them, yelling angrily. So that's how the show ended. So I love that Darby is still kind of around, like Darby will not let this go. Like, I don't know what's going to happen to Orange Cassidy. I feel like Orange Cassidy is going to go through some kind of crisis through this. It's a great opportunity for a character arc if they can pull it off. I don't know what his arc will be, but it feels like they're building him to an arc of some kind.
Maybe, but I like him. He's me. He's lazy. Mm-hmm. He's a millennial.
He doesn't want to say his height and weight, like, or where he's from or his weight.
No,
so,
it's too much work.
I thought you were going to say it's too personal.
It's too much work.
So that was the title matches that happened. Non-title stuff that we have going on. Bobby Lashley beat Swerve, which made sense. They weren't going to build up Bobby Lashley and have him come in just to lose his first match. And plus him, I feel like the Hurt Syndicate and Swerve, this feels like a couple month long feud. Yeah. It's going to happen. Nana got taken out again last night, which the crowd really doesn't like when Nana has to pay for Swerve's things.
No.
So the crowd always reacts well whenever Nana's getting attacked. It always feels like, oh no, they crossed the line.
I know. Whenever you touch Nana, that's just too far.
It is. I remember whenever the Hurt Syndicate was first approaching Swerve, there were like prayer circles going on for Prince Nana to like not lose Swerve as a client. Like, we need Nana on our TV. He's a treasure. I agree with that. I know.
AEW keeps taking away the treasures. They took away Mark Sterling from our TV screens. They took away Stokely. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're going to lose Prince Nana.
Nah. We'll see.
You're grunt there.
I have to have Prince Nana on my life. I have to. No getting around it. Let's see. What other non-title matches did we have? Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher won, and Kyle Fletcher won clean, which I thought was the most interesting result, which means I didn't think there was a snowball's chance in hell it would happen.
Yeah, I didn't think Ospreay was going to lose.
I didn't either, but I think it makes the story so much more interesting, and it's another way to give Ospreay a pretty decent arc.
Yeah.
Out of this. So
beat his best friend.
He can't beat the dude that said that he was going to go out there and beat him like he did.
Yeah.
I forgot about a title. Ricochet and Konosuke Takeshita wrestled for the international title. Takeshita kept it.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Kyle Fletcher didn't need Don Callis' help to beat Ospreay. Don Callis needed to help Takeshita beat Ricochet. Takeshita's the one with the belt, so I kind of wonder... See, this is the problem with AEW. Is this just a coincidence, or is this going to come up later?
I didn't think anything of it, honestly, whenever it happened.
You didn't think anything of Don Callis need to help Takeshita, but not Fletcher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I wonder if you read too much into things. Or maybe I don't read enough into it.
And wrestling usually tends to fall somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right between it. Because I always look for Easter eggs and stuff. I'm surprised you don't do that more, because you always tell me about these Taylor Swift Easter eggs in her songs.
I look for Easter eggs with WWE.
Uh-huh.
With AEW, I don't know if Tony Khan knows how to do Easter eggs appropriately, so I just don't look.
I think he knows how to set them down, but I don't think he knows how to present them or pay them off sometimes.
Which is what I just said.
Yeah.
I
was agreeing with your point.
Oh.
I was agreeing with your point. I was just putting it in my own words.
Yes. Yeah.
What, no good? Anyway, let's see. MJF and Roddy Strong. So that ended up being a pretty straightforward match. I have to give it to Roddy Strong. Roddy Strong, I don't see him wrestle too often. Of course, we haven't really been watching Collision Rampage lately. I think he's been wrestling on there. But Roddy Strong is my example when I think of, when I see him in a match and I'm like, okay, it's Roddy. And then I watch him and I remember, oh yeah, Roddy's really freaking good at this.
What was the Messiah Backbreakers?
The Messiah the Backbreaker.
Yeah.
AKA your worst nightmare with your back.
Yeah. Maybe he can help me out.
Maybe he can fix it for you.
Maybe.
It just hit an end of heartache right there in your lumbar where you always complain it hurts. Just break it by busting it up, I guess. But it was a good match. MJF did win. He worked on the hand-all match and ended up winning with an armbar, so that makes sense. Adam Cole came out because he smashed he stomped a chair on Roddy's arm. So then Adam Cole comes out, but Adam Cole came out after that stomp happened, so he was a little late. So he gets out there. Kyle O'Reilly's with him, and the Undisputed Kingdom's with him. Kyle O'Reilly gets mad. Kyle O'Reilly just shoves Adam Cole down, and he's like, "See, I told you," and then he left. Yeah. So we're brewing something with Cole and O'Reilly. So while that's going on, Cole's got to deal with O'Reilly. Now Strong's hurt, and he's got to deal with MJF. So Adam Cole's got some plates to spin. He'll be busy for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with that match. That was the second match of the night. I was surprised it was the second match of the night, actually. But yeah, I think that's it for the show. I just realized there weren't any hardcore matches on this AEW show. Orange Cassidy still bled like stuck pig. But there was
Nina bled like... Yeah, but people still bled, though.
That's true. They did bleed.
We don't have to have a hardcore match in AEW for people to bleed. This isn't like WWE.
No, I'm just saying it's weird that they didn't have at least one. Where they do a pile
driver and they're going for weeks and weeks on end.
I'm just saying it felt very weird that they didn't have a stip match.
Yeah.
Everything was straightforward this time. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting for them. Usually there's some kind of stip. But anyway, I want to talk about the pre-show thing before we leave. So, I didn't know who Big Boom AJ was. I had no idea who Big Justice was. And I had no idea who the Rizzler were. Now that I've had all three of these people in my life, I've been debating for a while if I want to go down the rabbit hole to figure out who these people are and where they came from.
Oh, really? I have no interest. They just annoyed me.
They annoyed you?
They annoyed me.
Which one? All of it?
All of it. Because it's like, you're kidding me? They're TikTok famous? Why? What? I can scratch my face.
But you're not a chubby little third grader.
I'm chubby. I'm a chubby adult.
Yeah, so I had no idea who these people were. They built it up like he got 2 promos on Dynamite. But even you admitted during the show, We didn't know what was going on, but we just knew everybody that was doing it was having a ball.
They were having fun. I think I'm just jealous because how in the hell do these random people get TikTok? Well, not that I don't know if I'd want to be TikTok famous. Honestly,
I was gonna say it's not like you get on. You even get on TikTok to try.
I get on TikTok
to creep. Have you ever posted a TikTok?
I posted 2 TikTok videos about our kitties.
Then they would be the stars. Lenny would be the Rizzler, not you. But anyway, everybody looked like they were having fun. The crowd ate it up. The crowd had a hell of a fun time with it. So I'm kind of leaning towards I probably won't see where these people came from. But
did I change your mind?
But no, I've been on the fence. I told you I've been on the fence. But for the brief moment that they passed by my screens, I was entertained. I was confused, but I was entertained.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think wrestling really works when it's confusing but entertaining.
Yeah.
It's weird. Wrestling's such a weird medium. It's great when the stories are good. It could be great when it's really bad and garbage. And it could be great when it just confuses you. There's no other form or medium of entertainment like it out there.
No.
There's not. It's like weekly medieval times except with fistfights.
It's like a soap opera for men.
Yeah, that's what we always called it growing up.
That's what it is.
It's not just for men, though.
I know, but that's what I always feel like it is. Soap opera for men. It's like a soap opera that men feel like they don't have to hide that they watch.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, Full Gear overall was a good show. Didn't really have any issues with anything. I thought the booking was actually done pretty well. A couple things happened that I didn't think would happen. The only thing I think I would have changed is I think I would have crowned Statlander, but it seems like they're saving that for a later day at some point.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this week. Next week there won't be a show because it's Thanksgiving week. Holiday time. I know you're not the biggest fan of the holidays.
Yeah.
But it does give you a day off.
My favorite holiday is Halloween.
And no one ever gets days off from
that. And once it gets to like Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's just kind of like ugh.
I feel like you should start a petition to make Halloween an option for a floating holiday.
I know.
You should start that.
I should.
Maybe that's how you get TikTok famous. Maybe that's
more justice for Halloween instead of Thanksgiving and Christmas taking it over.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's your starting point. There's your TikTok campaign.
Yes.
Find us on the socials at Married with Wrestling on Facebook and here on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. Also, leave a comment with any thoughts that you had about Full Gear or about the Build to Survivor series, or anything that you thought that we should have covered that we didn't. We'll take a look at it for the next show.
I mean, we'll consider it.
Yeah, we'll consider it.
It's our show, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick what we say.
Yeah, so Susan's out if you want us to go into more detail about the Rizzler, apparently. So, but have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Just have a happy holidays in general, whatever you celebrate.
Yes, and the next time we see you, we will know what happens with War Games, and we'll see what we're going to do with Roman heading into the Royal Rumble.
Later.